Mm-hmm. 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 Surprise
Let's
traders,
go.
how are we feeling today? We have an absolutely
I'll wake up.
beautiful video going over stock ticker AMC as well as GameStop. Looking the most beautiful it has actually looked in months. So we're going to start with AMC. We're going to loop into GameStop. So make sure to stay the full length of the video so you get all the due diligence, that juicy tinfoil, and look at that. 1,500 views, 100 likes on the last video. Could not be more grateful. So you guys already know what to do. Do both. Help the algorithm push this channel. And let's get straight into it, guys. So GameStop, we'll cover that in a second. But AMC, doing the absolute dirty today. As you can see, you've actually had 3 days of straight buying volume increases. And you've actually crushed your all-time record of having 9 straight green days on the chart, right? So you see that's a 0. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 green days in a row is absolutely insane. And we commented in our last video, last time AMC did this was actually all the way back in May of 2021. We all know what happened, right? It was during this stretch of price action, which was insane. And then you had a peel back, and then you had the June squeeze, right? So you had, what was this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1.65 gain, 7, 8, and then you dipped, right? So what we're watching here on AMC, we're just celebrating the wins, right? I mean, you have to when you're up 80 freaking percent on the rip up here from the falling wedge breakout. And what we're watching is what you're going to do in a couple cents, right? Once you hit 178, there is a serious conversation of rejection here. As you can look on TradingView, look at that freaking monthly candle, guys. If that doesn't get you jacked, I don't know what will, because the monthly candle is up 70% on AMC, and that will surely play in to what happens next, right? We drew up this falling wedge about 2 to 3 weeks ago, talking about it back here, right? We really were banking on this horizontal resistance to hold, and you fell beneath it, right? And you see these 3 red candles printing -10, -16, -15, right? You've now engulfed. You have a triple engulfing monthly candle in which you just swallowed 3 months of price action, and you're now knocking on the door of this resistance trend. That is bullish, guys. So we're going to have to watch and see what happens when you come against the all-time trend line on AMC. This is the June pennant formation, right? That is going to be the true test of whether or not this is a just straight out breakout, right? Or if you're going to trade sideways within this falling wedge a little bit further until you find confirmation, right? Because it feels like a lot of this bullish price action, although warranted because of how oversold you were on the RSI, has not really been any fundamental news driving it, besides for Mario, right? Super Mario was a box hit, but there's nothing that really is screaming an 80% move in just a short couple of weeks. But the most beautiful thing for us, guys, is when you look at the weekly chart, you've now crossed your horizontal trend line that we talked about at 156. I did think that that would be some level of hesitancy, but you have not slowed down whatsoever. And the most bullish matter of fact is that you've now printed, if you can hold this close going into the end of the week, a 3 white soldiers candlestick, guys. 3 white soldiers is one of the most bullish reversal of the current downtrend in pricing charts. Not only is it that, right? But I think the price tells the story. And when you see this kind of triple engulfing candlestick pattern, that's insane, right? The story on the chart, it's bullish. And so when you see this, you see the volume increasing. You see a flat out breakout of this falling wedge, with no hesitancy, it's going to lead to a halt at some point, right? And you have to question when. I'm banking on within a day or two, you're going to come up here to 174 and you're going to hit your head. And what you do next is going to be very, very important. It's going to tell you what the next couple of months are going to be on AMC, because not only did you just fly through this resistance trend, but you're cruising into your all-time falling wedge resistance. And if you break this and then retest, there's a strong possibility that you've made your bottom. And I don't say that lightly, because a lot of people are calling for a lot of things, but the technical analysis, right? The charts do not lie. People lie. Charts do not lie. So if I pull up the RSI, what made us want to do this whole swing play was you had been more oversold than COVID, guys. More oversold than COVID as you went in to your fourth test. 1, 2, 3, fourth test of this falling wedge sloping support here. And every single test, guys, you've seen a nice launch, 149%, 1,000%. This one was 400 something, 400%, right? And you've now already seen an 80% increase in price from this bounce, guys. What you're going to do next is going to tell you what is happening in the next couple of months. So stay tuned, right? Subscribe, hit the notification bell, do whatever you got to do. But this is insane. Flat out, this is insane. The quarterly chart is even in bullish engulfing. This thing is screaming, right? This thing is screaming reversal. And when you go to the quarterly MACD, that is what gets me excited, because if you can hold these levels, right, print that quarterly bullish engulfing, and you get a quarterly MACD cross, guys, then GG, right? There's a strong possibility that you break free and make your bottom. So that's what we're watching for AMC. Good looks on the weekly. I'd like to see you finish with higher volume. You still have 2 days left to do it. You've seen a ramp up on the daily volume, but the weekly volume is still relatively low. And you see you're holding and wicked off of the weekly 9-day EMA. That's bullish, showing that the short term is trend continuation, right? You wicked at 167 today. You closed at 167. So you really, really close at the high here, showing bullish momentum is upwards. And you've yet to fill your gaps, currently sitting at 128 and 112. So that is, if you are going to hit this, hopefully you only peel back to the 50, which is now curling up, guys. That's one of the biggest news on AMC that we've had in quite some time, is you have officially got your 50-day EMA to curl up for the first time since back here in May of 2025, right? What we've talked about on this channel for a very, very long time is, if you want to get to true squeezy territory, right? If retail wants to win the game, you need to see this thing get a golden cross on the daily time frame. You just do, right? The last time you got a golden cross on AMC, your FOMO, your retail revolution was happening, right? You had it back in January of 2021. Saw a huge move up, 1,000%. You saw the 50 cross the 200. You retested the 50, and then you went, right? Your options got out of control. You had a gamma squeeze into June, and that's what we're really watching for, the macro chart of AMC. We've charted the falling wedge. I think it's likely you break out. But if you can get a golden cross on AMC, that would be the Picasso's kiss, right? You couldn't draw it up any better than that. Speaking of golden cross, I wanted to talk about GameStop. And that's a nice segue into GameStop, because what gets me so excited about this chart is you have the fundamentals in a place that you've never been before. On the local time frames, right, you've now seen 2 days in a row of higher volume than the last 2-3 months, right? You have to go all the way back to February to see a candle that matches this level of bullishness in early February, which was when you broke out of this falling wedge. That, to me, is spelling that this breakout is going to continue to grow. And not only did you break out of this channel, right, this bullish channel, you broke out of this pennant, or this flag. And what I expect to happen from that is the full profit target of this, I do expect to play out. And where that takes you is upwards of $30. So say what you want about GameStop. The looks here on the short time frame are bullish on GME. And we've done it, right? You've closed above the 200 for 2 consecutive days. You have the 50-day EMA curling up into the 200. I do believe after many months of flirting with this golden cross, I think you're finally going to get your most bullish sequence of a bullish golden cross, because this one, the 200 was sloping slightly down. You failed to hold it and you didn't get the golden cross, right? This one, your 200 is sloping slightly up, failed to hold it, didn't get the golden cross. But when you do get a true golden cross and you see the follow through, right? And you see a retest like you did back in May of 2024, this is the kind of volatility that I expect to happen, right? Especially on this stock. We all know what this thing does when you see volatility. What we're watching here on GME is 3 things particularly. The golden cross, the monthly Bollinger Bands, and the monthly RSI band. It is as simple as those 3 things that if you can accomplish those 3 things, you will be at significantly higher prices. And the story tells this, right? When you look at the golden cross, you typically see nice moves, regardless of the breakdowns, right? This golden cross that came to fruition, right, saw an increase in price of, drum roll, off of the retest, you saw 172% move, right? You have to go back pretty far to see a true golden cross. In fact, you have to go all the way back to the squeeze, right, back in 2021. That was the only time in GME's history that you saw a true test in a true golden cross. All the other ones are failed to cross golden crosses. So what we're watching for on GME is, can you break it and can you hold it? Retaining this momentum is going to be everything. Beyond that, right, can you hold your breakout of the monthly RSI band? That's a beautiful, beautiful thing, right? On the monthly time frame, you traded and you really started to coil and consolidate within this falling wedge on the monthly time frame. I keep saying monthly because on the macro, guys, these longer time frames often equate to larger percentage gains, right? And so when you have a macro break of a falling wedge on the RSI, that is insanely bullish. So I do expect you to make the full increment of this price target at $30. And we all know, right, above 30, you see volatility off of this stock. So I do expect something to come out and for this thing to probably run to a higher high and to bump your head either this downtrend that's newly formed from the top of 2020 and the top of 2024, which would land somewhere between 42 and $40, or this higher high within this channel, right, which lands between 47 and 48. That is moonshot targets, right? But first, you need to break $28 to $27. That's been stingy, right? That has been your entire trading channel in which you see you close below, close below, close below, close below, close below, close below, finally close above, closing below, right? So you have failed to hold above $27 to $28 for a very long time. You haven't truly closed above it since July of 2022. And here, and here. And you saw both times you failed to hold it. So whether or not you can hold at those high levels is going to determine what GameStop does in the next 3 months, right? Same as AMC, you need to hold this bullish momentum. Now, the Bollinger Bands, right? The moment everyone's been waiting for that is very, very intriguing to me is your upper Bollinger Band at $30. Coincidentally, right at your price target off of this Rippy candle, right? You've also had a 3-month consolidation within the Bollinger Band squeeze oftentimes you see huge moves, right? Huge moves off of this. When you see flat tightening moves off of the Bollinger Bands, dump, right? Really just vertical down. Same thing, right? Flat for about a year or two. You ripped, right? Touch the bottom band, break the mid band, retest, and then you rip. And from that, right, that's a 272% gain. We're now at the point where you've seen 3 months of consolidation on GME, and you're beginning to poke back above the midline for the Bollinger Bands. And if you cross it, traders, that is going to be your true cross, your first cross of the midband since this candle right here in 2024 of May. So that does bode well for the stock, because oftentimes once you get back above that midband, guys, look at how you ride it, right? Look at how you freaking use this thing as support. So, and likewise, when you get underneath it, right? Rejection. It is stubborn as all get out. But I have the pleasure of telling you, this was the first time in recent history that you cross back above the midline. This was the first time in long-term history that you cross above the midline, right? 1 and 2. Those are your last 2 crosses above the midline. That bodes pretty well, right? That bodes pretty well for GME, especially with this macro breakout, especially with Michael Burry covering the stock, Ryan Cohen doubling down on shares. I am jacked. I'm excited, guys. Whew. I am excited. Wall Street Bets coming back. Kind of hilarious. Bat signal initiated. And then adding GME, adding Roaring Kitty. Beyond that, slap the subscribe button. Like the video if you guys found value in this. If you guys enjoyed the passion in which I speak about stocks, because I enjoy doing it. We're going to close this up with IWM, and then we're going to wish you guys a beautiful Thursday. You closed on the daily time frame. You're still leaving so many gaps behind you, but what's bullish here is you close with a bullish hammer candle on the day, still up from this crazy run up. But the thing that concerns me here is the volume is still consistently down, right? We zoom out and you look at this trend on the volume profile. You've now climbed on IWM, which is the meme stock basket index. You've now climbed 13%, and you've not seen any sign of a buyer pushing this thing higher. In fact, you've just seen lowering volume with so many gaps behind you. It gives me almost this bull trap kind of feel, right? It almost feels too good to be true. But one thing that gets me excited is you also see IWM near all-time highs, right? 271. You see SPX. Whoops. You see SPX, the S&P 500, absolutely V-lining out of here and making a new all-time high at 7,000 on SPY, guys, which is insane. I bet nobody predicted that except for us, right? So that's a beautiful thing for the overall health of the stock market. But when we look at this on TradingView, I'm actually curious because I have not looked at this on TradingView. Yeah, you crossed your midband on the... it's not bad, honestly. On TradingView, you have 3 white soldiers showing a reversal of trend. You crossed your mid RSI band, and then on the daily time frame, are you overheated? Almost, right? You're going into the bull zone on SPY, so you could have a little bit of a blow-off top here, probably around the formation here, 2 tops. So I do expect you to top out somewhere between 706 and 707 here, and then kind of pull back, retest your all-time high, and then rip further. I think SPY looks delicious. I would trade this all day in bullish fashion, right? I had this drawn up a long time ago. That's insane. That is crazy. Oh my God. That is nuts. Top, top, top. Bounce, bounce, bounce. Spring and test. That is technical analysis, ladies and gentlemen. I wish you would do. Furthermore, just want to give Cantonese Cat a shout out on this due diligence because I thought it was beautiful, right? You saw a cup and handle pattern as well as the Russell 2000, kind of analyzing what's a distributive pattern and what is a cumulative pattern in terms of the stock market. This gives very dumpy vibes. This is MOAS, right? This is a buy all day for me, right? You have this cup and handle, and then you retest the handle. You retest the cup. And so we're watching here on IWM in real time. It's pretty much the same thing that just happened on SPY. So I do expect all-time highs. I expect higher. So God bless each and every single one of you guys. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being so good with the like button and the subscribe button. Hope you guys are having a wonderful day. God bless you and your families. And remember, the best is yet to come. Thank you.